'Twas the night before Mother's Day, when all through the home not a device was plugged in, not even a phone. All the cards had been drawn by the kids that very day, in hopes that their mommy would just love what they'd say. The kids were passed out from the hard work they'd done, while dreams of mom's celebration through their heads they did run. And Mama, with her eyes covered, all snuggled in bed, was planning on sleeping in for once instead. When out in the living room there came many beeps, I jumped from my bed with a bunch of fast leaps. Away to the door I raced to find out what was causing the noise that might freak my wife out. The objects on the table gave off quite a glow, and I rushed to find out what was under the bow. When what to my high-tech dad eyes should show up, but an entourage of presents all carefully piled up. The gifter had managed to avoid all the mobs. I knew right away that it must be Steve Jobs. More quickly than upgrades, his devices did come. All of them laid out, just for one certain mum. Now iPod, now iPad, iPhone, and iOS. On iTunes, on App Store, and download your choice. To the top of the charts in this great day of May. Give iOS devices to your moms right away. As the markets predicted, these devices did succeed, and buy them did those who really saw the need. So out on the table, just ready to unbox, were all of Apple's products, including some docks. Then without rumor, I heard Steve Jobs exclaim, "iOS gadgets make people happy, and no one's to blame." I nodded in agreement with a bob of my head, happy that my wife was still asleep in her bed. He was dressed in blue jeans and a black turtleneck, and wielded a presentation, a fancy keynote deck. The slides did appear and transitions abound. The virtues of iOS devices he did expound. His eyes glowed with energy, his words did impress. He talked through the pluses of Apple without rest. His glasses seemed to sparkle like apps on a screen, as he demoed the iPad 2, all shiny and clean. The iPhone he held with an expert-like grip. He showed how the antenna strength did not drop a bit. He got his pitch out with power and finesse, and convinced me to pay attention to what he did next. He was full of energy, that witty little Steve, and I carefully watched for a trick up his sleeve. With a wink of his eye, he started to sing. "You should know what is coming," he said. "Oh, and one more thing." Steve pointed to the table and didn't say more. It was piled to the roof with Apple products galore. With a smile on his face, he put a finger to his lips. To me he said quietly, "Let me give you some tips. Be sure to remember, Mother's Day is once a year. If you don't treat Mom right, you aren't much of a dear. She is queen for a day, ruling everything she sees. Happy Mother's Day to all, and stay away from PCs.
Happy Mother's Day!